to Not Suitable for Adults. It's a podcast where we adults sit down and talk about shows that our daughter, the kid, watches. And we talk about whether we like them or not, but mostly about whether we like them or not.
Doesn't matter. She doesn't matter.
Whoa.
What I mean is her opinion.
That's right, because we're the boss. But we'll talk about that later. I'm Rich.
I'm Natalie.
And we're going to start this week off with...
Now I feel like a terrible mother. And it's Mother's Day. We're recording on Mother's Day. And I just made a terrible comment about my child.
You know, you said it, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, wow. But also, it might be one of those things where parents listening are like, yes! Anyway, we're going to start this week off with a show that we just recently, or I should say Natalie, just started introducing Cora to, that sort of blends the old and the new, and it's fun for everyone. Go ahead, Natalie.
Yeah, yesterday I threw on a couple of episodes of What's New Scooby-Doo for myself, mostly, and for Cora, I was curious to see if she would enjoy it. What's New Scooby-Doo is the version that I am most familiar with. It was 2002 to 2006, so that's more of my kind of remembering anything. That's
your, if you're going to remember something, it's in that 6-year period.
Well, it's 4 years.
Oh, I thought, what were the
2002
years?
2002 to 2006.
Oh, I heard, you said 2006 and I totally just heard 2008. So that's my bad.
Yeah. That's okay. So what I love about What's New Scooby-Doo is, first off, I really enjoy the theme song.
What's New Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. It's got that sort of, it's got that skater punk feel that was very, very in between 2002 and 2006.
Yes, that 6-year period in there. So the original, the other Scooby-Doo that a lot of people know of are the Scooby-Doo Where Are You? And that was more of like the 69 to 70.
Original Scooby-Doo.
Yes. But a new Scooby-Doo is coming out soon, and they are putting up a lot of Scooby-Doo stuff on Netflix right now.
Are they? I know there's a movie coming out.
Yes.
Is there a show too?
No, just...
Oh, okay, just the movie.
Yeah. So there's been several movies and just other renditions of it, but a new movie is coming out, so I believe that's why Netflix is putting up a bunch of Scooby-Doo stuff right now.
Good call.
So I threw on What's New Scooby-Doo, and in case you don't know Scooby-Doo, which, come on, y'all, but if you don't, that's okay. Let me do a quick little... what is it?
There's an overview.
That's the word. We have 4 teens, which actually, let's be honest, in this they don't seem like teenagers to me. They seem quite old for teenagers. Even animated versions of them seem old for teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're always called kids. So, but we've got Fred Jones. He is the kind of hunky looking one with the blonde hair and the ascot.
Oh yeah, all the cool guys wear ascots.
And he makes the plans. He's the brave one that goes into the fray, and he's like, well, let's go check it out. And he's the leader, not self-appointed, but he's just the leader of the group. And he makes these plans to trap the monsters or spirits or whatever they're chasing at the time. And of course, those plans always get foiled somehow.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. We have Daphne Blake, who is kind of the glamour girl of the gang. She is a little more girly in that, like, she's portrayed a little bit ditzy in a way.
Yeah.
And, but on the other side is Velma Dinkley, who she's kind of like the brains of the group.
Usually actually figures everything out.
Yes, she's the one that goes, I knew it from the beginning. And they go, yeah, we did too. Explain it, Velma. Like, you tell us about it. She wears glasses, and she always loses her glasses, and I can't see anything without my glasses. That happens
that fun trope.
A lot of times. Yeah. And then we have Shaggy.
Oh, Shaggy.
Do you know what Shaggy's real name is?
No.
Shaggy's name is Norval Rogers.
Okay.
Norval quotes Shaggy, so I'm making the quotes thing with my hands for those of you that can't see me, which is all of you, except for Rich. Norval Shaggy Rogers. And he's kind of the how would you put what would you put his character as portrayed as? The pothead?
Yeah, the stoner.
The stoner of the group. You never ever see.
There are no drug depictions.
None. But you know every time he's not on camera, he's lighting up something. I mean, there should be a constant just like smoke around him, I feel like. Because he's always a little bit paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also always very hungry.
Yeah, he's always got the munchies.
Yes. So I feel Shaggy is just in a constant state of high. That's kind of my thoughts.
That's the read. And I mean, his character was designed in the late 60s and early 70s, so sure. Yeah.
He is, of course, voiced by Casey Kasem, which has for a while done the Shaggy voice, but I have a little interesting tidbit about Casey Kasem.
Can't wait.
And his voicing of Shaggy. But I'll get to that in just a second.
Okay.
Because let me introduce the fifth member of the team.
The Mystery Wagon.
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay.
And it's not called a Mystery Wagon. It's called the Mystery Machine.
I don't watch the show.
Okay. Scooby-Doo is also a little paranoid and also very hungry, so I just assume he's secondhand high all the time.
Yeah.
Because him and Shaggy are BFFs. And they're always afraid. They're the two ninnies. The scaredy cats of the group. And Scooby-Doo in this is also voiced by the same guy who voices Fred.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo, yes, can talk a little bit. Mm-hmm. He does this kind of roll, and he does that sort of voice when he's trying to communicate something, and they can always understand him. Mm-hmm. But he's a Great Dane. Yeah. He's a big dog, and they go to a bunch of different places. They go to lodges, they go to museums, they go to historical sites, they go to hotel, like they go everywhere. Mm-hmm. And this dog is always just allowed to come in with them.
Well, yeah, service animal.
So you think they just tell everybody that he's a service animal?
Yeah, kind of behind the scenes, like someone, while they're talking to the museum curator who doesn't care. In the background, you can't see it. Off camera, someone walks up to Shaggy and is like, excuse me, there's no dogs allowed in the museum. He's like, oh, he's my service dog. And they're like, oh, excuse me, so sorry.
Nobody's going to say, prove it.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know how service dogs work. Maybe you carry around paperwork or something that has their licensure on it.
Or maybe they walk up and they go, oh, excuse me, sir, there's no dogs allowed in here. And then Scooby-Doo speaks to them and they run away screaming.
And then he becomes the monster that they're all afraid of because he's a Great Dane that talks.
Yes.
Okay, so the interesting little tidbit I wanted to tell you about is, so Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Like I mentioned before, was the original kind of, and Casey Kasem was voicing Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
During the production of the second season of that, Casey Kasem did, a very strict vegetarian, and he wanted Shaggy to also be a vegetarian.
Okay.
He and Hanna-Barbera,
Mm-hmm.
who kind of did some of the production.
Hanna-Barbera is a production partnership.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
not many people know that. I think some people think that that's one person, but it's a person named Hanna and a person named Barbera.
Oh, yes, I did realize that, but that is interesting. Yeah.
Fun side note: can I tell you something about?
Please.
I believe it was Hanna. I can't remember his first name. It's like Jack or something. A great name. It's not Jack Hanna. No. I'm sorry. It's not Jack Hanna. But it's a name like that. It's like a strong name. I can't think what his name is. He was a member of the Barbershop Harmony Society.
Oh.
Which I work for.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to do, back in the day, he'd do these little doodles for programs and stuff that looked like the Flintstones and the Jetsons and Scooby-Doo and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That were not them, but that had that same kind of art aesthetic to them. Just a little fun side thing. I always thought that was cool. We have some stuff, some drawings of his at the office.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So he was promised that the character of Shaggy would become vegetarian, and they did keep that bargain for that season of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But in subsequent spin-off series, he that's not actually adhered to as much, and Kasem, in 1995, he was required to perform Shaggy's voice for a Burger King commercial.
Okay.
And then after that, he refused to perform the voice after that because of this issue, because of the vegetarian issue. But in What's New Scooby-Doo, that came out in 2002, they told him that, we would like you to play Shaggy. And he said, well, here's my one thing.
Terms.
Here's my one thing. He needs to be a strict vegetarian. And he is.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Casey Kasem?
Sure.
Because I imagine Casey Kasem as apparently much older than he must actually be.
Casey Kasem is... So, he's dead.
Oh, okay, now.
Yes, he died in 2014.
Okay.
And he died when he was 82 when he died.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what's your hang up on that one?
No, there's no hang up. I'm trying to get context for the age of Casey Kasem, because I remember.
Okay, so when he was doing Shaggy.
I don't know. Casey Kasem had passed away. That's.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed
2014. So he was born in 1932, and he began the Scooby-Doo franchise in 1969.
Okay.
So that would have made him 37.
Yeah.
27.
Okay. I guess so. I don't know. I'm getting way too hung up on this. I remember that.
Yeah, 37.
I remember when I was a kid.
I can't do math apparently when I'm trying to also talk to someone.
I remember when I was a kid, when we would listen to the radio on a Saturday, if we were driving somewhere and the radio was on, frequently the top 40 countdown back then was hosted by Casey Kasem still. And I knew, my parents talked about how he'd done that forever. And so I guess I just had it in my mind that in the 90s he was very old, and that Apparently he just wasn't that old.
He did American Top 40 from 1970 to 1988.
I remember him doing. Maybe he did some guest stuff because I remember.
Then he did Casey's Top 40.
Okay.
From 1988 to 1998.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Okay,
of.
so I believe you. Did you say American Top 40 beforehand?
I just remember it was I just remember it was a top 40. I assumed there weren't two different top 40s, but apparently there were.
Yeah. Yeah. Casey's Top 40 is probably what you're remembering. And he did that for about a 10-year period.
Okay.
So, are you trying to think of how old he was at that point?
No, I've got it. I've got it all squared away. It's just that in my mind at that point I felt like he was much older than apparently he was, but it's not like he was a young man at that point either.
Right.
He just always had a very young voice also, I guess.
Yeah, and when you're portraying a character like Shaggy, you sound young because Shaggy is kind of a juvenile,
Well, but did you ever hear him on the radio?
I might have. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't listen.
He had this kind of voice. Yeah. Hi guys, it's Casey Kasem.
Yeah,
and so he had that kind of.
He just had a voice.
High pitched radio voice.
Yeah. Okay, so after 7 years of quitting the role, he made his character. He came back as Shaggy after they made him a vegetarian.
All right.
So I thought that was quite interesting.
You know what? Good for you. Yeah. Scooby-Doo producers getting the OG voice back in there.
Yeah. And then something in What's New Scooby-Doo, of course, that they always do is I would have gotten away with it too.
If it weren't for those meddling kids.
Yes. And what's so funny is the episode that I watched, and man, I'm not going to be able to think of it right now, and I didn't write it down, but they say if it wasn't for you...
Oh, the one with the dinosaur?
No, it was before that.
Okay, because they don't say it in that one either. They do something different in that one too.
Yeah, but then a lot of times they say, that's actually meddling kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they'll say it, but a lot of times they say it in a different way. They use different words for meddling and for kids.
Yeah.
So, What's New Scooby-Doo? I love it. It always takes on a similar storyline every single time. It's always the same thing. First off, how are these, and they're supposed to be teenagers, affording to drive around in their, what you called the mystery wagon?
I just said the wrong word, y'all. It happens to everyone. It happens to us all. Sometimes we say different words.
The mystery machine. They're driving around, and they're going to a ton of different places.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, it's sure great to be able to take a vacation to Cuba, or something like that. And I'm like, what?
Sometimes I guess I don't have... Here's something we should pay attention to when we watch Scooby-Doo now. Some of these places are places you shouldn't be able to get your car to.
Something I forgot to mention that I did find in my research is that the characters of Daphne and Shaggy are both supposed to be rich kids.
Oh, okay.
They kind of have well-to-do families. And I think a lot of their trips are sponsored.
Funded. Yeah.
But... Anyway, yeah, and then they find the monster. Velma always says there's no such thing as monsters, and yet they're always running away from them. Time and time again, they have proven that monsters and ghosts and everything are usually just a man in a mask, and yet they are always frightened and running away. And then they do Fred makes a plan to capture it that gets foiled somehow. It just barely slips up, and then they do the chasing montage.
Yep.
Which is always on different levels or through different doors.
Yep, they got to do the one where they run in one door and come out another door.
Yeah.
They run into each other. They're chasing the wrong one.
Yes,
yeah.
Right. So, anyway, it makes me happy. Just Scooby-Doo I've always really enjoyed Scooby-Doo. And Cora did like it. She was pretty into it when we had it on. The one thing that I would caution for others that have a child like ours is that there could be elements that are a little bit jump scary. Because the dinosaur one, like running out of the cave and stuff, she wasn't as into that. So maybe not for the super faint of heart kids, or maybe just for older kids.
Yeah, or maybe just 5 and up.
Yeah. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
That's Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. What's new?
No.
I know. That one I did on purpose.
Okay.
So we're going to take a little trip over to Promoville, and then we'll be right back with you.
It's a beautiful day in Promoville, a beautiful day for a promo. Would you please, could you please listen to this promo? Yeah.
Hey folks, Rob here from Fat, Drunk, and Stupid. And what is that, you ask? Well, aside from 3 words that describe my life, it's a podcast. We talk about food, fun, fellowship, movies, books, video games, pop culture, and much more. Also, some very interesting guests and some awesome stories, and of course, some cold beers along the way too. So look us up on Twitter at FDS Podcast 7 and look for Fat, Drunk, and Stupid wherever you find your favorite podcast. Thanks for listening.
And we're back from Promoville.
Hi.
We just had to stop in Promoville for some gas, and we're back.
Oh, I needed a snack, though. Did you get my snack?
Yeah, I did. I got you a granola bar.
Okay, thanks. But I can't have a granola bar without a drink.
I got you an orange soda.
A granola bar and orange soda?
That sounds tasty right now to me. I could drink some orange soda.
What is my go-to? Go into a gas station and grab it out of the cooler.
Snapple.
Snapple.
Frequently Snapple Apple.
For some reason, it's just better when it comes from a gas station.
There's some things that are like that. You know what else is better from a gas station? Chips.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beef jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's because so many people get that stuff from there, so I think they get it turned over faster.
Oh, it's fresher.
I think sometimes with some products, not everything, like you probably don't want to buy bread at a gas station.
Yeah, who's
usually
going to the gas station for
listen,
bread?
if you need bread
or eggs,
get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like people buy so many chips and beef jerky and things like that.
Yeah.
That they probably do get really quick turnover, and it's usually probably fresher.
A constant fresh supply going in.
Someone do your doctoral thesis on that, because I want to know about it.
My thing from a gas station is a good old Snapple apple.
Yep, Snapple apple.
I would also enjoy the mango version as well, but
I like getting all the different flavors of Mountain Dew.
Yes, anything that particular gas station's mascot Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I'm a sucker.
Likes.
I'm a sucker for novelty.
Yes. Did you know this is something that I really that you and my mom are very similar in?
Yeah.
Mom, if she sees a new flavor of anything, she gets it, and you're exactly the same way.
Yeah, she does that, and she's got to get either a T-shirt or a mug from wherever she goes.
You're pretty similar in that way as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. So, unrelated to that is now my part of the show.
Okay.
I just wanted to do a little recap because we've been doing this now. This is our 24th episode, which means we're working on 6 whole months of podcasting. And it just occurred to me that there are some things way back when we started that I think we thought we knew even then about like her viewing habits that are not the same anymore, that have changed much more than we anticipated. For instance, in our very first episode, we talked about Chip and Potato.
Yes.
And I think the moment we did that episode, she stopped watching it.
Yeah, I think she had it on the other day for like a minute and then was bored with it.
I think she still kind of likes the concept. It might be because there hasn't been a new season. Maybe she got bored with the same episodes over and over. But like she doesn't really watch that show anymore. And initially we said like, oh, we're going to talk a bunch about Chip and Potato. But it turned out, nope, not so much.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know this. I don't think we've talked about this on the show, but that actually is the reason that we started the podcast was Chip and Potato.
Yeah, we were telling our friends about this show called Chip and Potato, and we were like, we should just record ourselves talking about it and see if people like listening to it.
Well, we had enough people who were like, that is so ridiculously funny, that for whatever reason, like that really puffed up our egos, and we decided,
ego.
Oh, okay, just only my ego, and sort of got us going on this idea that maybe people would like to listen to us talk and sometimes complain and sometimes recommend shows. And then, we went from there. So, anyway, something that she has continued to watch, not as frequently, but has sort of picked back up lately, is Blippi, which we also talked about early on in the show. Mm-hmm. Blippi's actually still putting out new content pretty regularly. And so, like the other day, I think we got to a point where we thought we had seen a lot of what he had to offer.
Yeah.
But recently he's put out, I think, several new ones. And the other day she was watching, and it was one I hadn't ever seen before.
Which one was it?
It was that, like, Playroom and Cafe in Las Vegas. He does most of his stuff around Las Vegas.
I think that's where he's from.
Yeah. Or somewhere not too far from there. But yeah, it was this little playroom and cafe with, like, a ball pit and these big blocks you could stack up, and she thought that was really fun. But yeah, it's interesting, the things that I think she likes watching Blippi again, because those are real world places.
Yeah.
But she'll frequently, whether it's that or sometimes it's Ryan, she still watches Ryan very much.
But you know what? Not as much as she has been.
Yeah, not
before.
Not a ton.
Yeah, we're just trying to hold on to that hope.
Yeah, it gets mixed in with a bunch of other stuff now.
Yeah.
But all those real world things, these real people going to real places, get her, like, thinking about going out and doing stuff. So she'll frequently, like, turn our phone or her tablet over to us and be like, "Oh, this looks like fun. I want to go here," which is also kind of sad. Like, we're all looking forward to being able to get out and
go, places.
So,
she has said a couple times, like, when the sickness is over, I wish I could go to there. Like,
yeah.
Like, I know, baby. I wish I could go
Same,
anywhere.
Same.
She has been doing a lot more Teen Titans Go lately, which I didn't think she'd be as into, but she actually is.
Yeah, I kind of thought she'd have similar problems like the dinosaur thing with Scooby-Doo. Because one of the main characters of Teen Titans Go is Beast Boy, who turns into creatures and frequently into, like, big, scary, quote unquote, like a big gorilla or a big dinosaur or something like that. And so I kind of thought that might be an issue, but it hasn't ever been an issue when I've been watching her. So just thought I'd do, like, a quick little update on sort of where we're at as far as shows that we've mentioned before.
Not really any new content that she's, like, obsessed with lately, I feel like. If I think we are going to have to expand ourselves to keep this show going.
Well, and that's part of what we did. Like, we probably wouldn't have done Teen Titans Go if Jeremy hadn't recommended it.
Right. And that's what we need, and we still have several.
Oh, yeah. We've got a list of
recommendations, but if you guys have recommendations, please send them our way. We want to look at them and we need things to be able to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to sort of catch up. Since I think initially we thought we'd circle back on some of these things, and we just really haven't had a chance to on most of them. But just to give you a real world look at what she's still watching. And with that, Natalie had apparently just a really, 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 really long list of Disney facts.
No, I have something new to tell you about, actually.
Oh, okay, because we're doing more Disney facts.
It is Disney.
Okay.
But I want to tell you something interesting that I heard about this week.
Okay.
And I looked it up to see what it was all about.
Cool. Let's hear all about it.
This is Club 33. Club 33 is a set of private clubs set in 3 different Disney parks.
Okay.
So it's in Disneyland here, it's at Tokyo Disneyland, and it's at Shanghai Disneyland.
So not Disney World,
No.
but Disneyland.
No, these are in Disneylands. And it does say new locations are coming to the Disney World's parks.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing a date or anything on that at the moment.
Well, it's very exclusive. So
It
if
is
you need to know, you'll
know. They will get in contact with you. So it's called Club 33 because it's basically just, it was the first one was set on 33 Royal Street in the New Orleans Square at Disneyland.
Okay.
So they just called it Club 33. So let me tell you about Club 33. It is very exclusive.
Cool.
Membership of the clubs is not transferable among the other resorts. So between resorts. So if you were to get a Club 33 membership in Shanghai, you could not use it in Tokyo or the United States and so on.
Okay. So it's not like most clubs.
No. Corporate members pay an initiation fee of $40,000. Individual members pay $25,000 in addition to annual dues, which are around $12,000.
Good grief, y'all.
So if you want to get in, hey, Rich, you want to get into Club 33?
I do.
Okay, great. You need to give me $25,000 now.
Oh, okay.
And every year, give me another $12,000.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, are you a corporation?
Yeah,
You're
I am.
corporate member?
Yeah.
You are?
I am.
Okay, you have to give me $40,000.
Oh, okay, because 25 sounded low.
Yeah, $40,000 actually. And then also, how about those annual dues as well?
Love it. Where do I sign up?
Well, it's invisible paper because you have to find the contract on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, okay. Be right back.
I'm making that up.
Hey, did you hear that there's a new... I did. I told you that there's a National Treasure show coming to Disney Plus.
A show?
Yeah.
Is it Nick Cage?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll tell you more when I know more. That's not what the show's about.
Club 33 members and their guests have exclusive access to resort experiences, which vary on the types of memberships.
Okay.
So apparently there are membership types. So maybe that's $12,000 a year. Maybe it doesn't have to be that much. Maybe it only has to be, like $10,000.
Oh, yeah, I could swing that.
That's a little more realistic. So you can get into the Club 33 restaurant. You can get into the Jazz Lounge, which is called Le Salon Nouveau. Did you like that?
The new salon.
Uh-huh. And Club 33 is one of 2 locations within Disneyland Park to offer alcoholic beverages. So you're really paying a premium to get your Bud Lights there.
I bet they have better than Bud Light there.
I want to pay $12,000 a year to go to a special bar that gives me special Bud Light.
It tastes better when I paid $10,000 for it.
The Club 33 members can designate themselves and or others to receive premier passports valid for Disneyland and Disney World. Their membership card grants them early access or early admission to the parks. Oh, they get valet parking, They get private and exclusive event access. In 2011, there was a 14-year waiting list.
Good grief.
For new membership, and the membership waiting list was reopened in 2012 after being closed for 5 years.
Man. So there was a point where they were like, we're not even going to put new people on the waiting list.
We just can't do it. There's too many. Yeah.
Man.
We just can't do it anymore. I just thought that was very interesting, and there's more you can read about Club 33. I'm not seeing it just kind of shows you just the different options, like the what it looks like inside and stuff like that, which it kind of just looks like a nice regular restaurant. I wouldn't pay that much money to go and eat there, to be honest.
Do you have to pay when you go to the restaurant?
I don't know. I mean, you have to pay to get access to the restaurant, obviously.
Right.
But I'm kind of doubting that they just give you any food you want for free once you're in there.
Because there are things that are like that. Like, a lot of hotels have, like, a Diamond Club or a Premier Club, and you can go into that private area and get some free stuff.
I'm not seeing anything that has to do with they get their stuff for free. I think you just basically pay that money to get access to premier attractions. So
this is this is interesting because it may not seem like this dovetails with our normal, like it sort of overlaps with Disney, but it also is kind of an interesting thing. So first of all, let's just talk about it. That's way too much money.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where, like, if they built it out more, and I guess because it's at Disneyland, which is smaller, it's one of those things that, like, if you made it a little bit cheaper and a little more accessible, a lot more people would do it. I bet. But maybe that's the point.
Well, but they don't need more people to do it because they have a waiting list. Like, it's not like they're strapped for people to do it.
Yeah, but I guess I mean, like, if you opened a, I don't know, I don't know their business model. I'll have to have my people call their people. I don't have people.
I'm your person.
But it's a way that Disney is making their stuff more suitable for adults.
Yeah.
Like, I think about a much less highbrow version of this, in my mind, is Epcot. Mm-hmm. Epcot is the adult playground for Disney World.
Do people in listening to our podcast know that we went to Disney World for our honeymoon?
We did. We went to Disney World for our honeymoon, guys, 10 years ago.
10 years ago this
coming Friday.
10 years.
And that was the last time we went to Disney World. We need to go again sometime.
Yeah, maybe when she would
older.
actually be able to remember it.
But yeah, Epcot is great. Listen, hey, you that is thinking, nah, that doesn't sound like that's something that's for me. We went to Disney World for our honeymoon. We stayed at the New Orleans resort,
the French Quarter.
Yeah, and we basically park hopped during the day, and every night went back to Epcot for dinner.
Except when we went to
except for when we went to, like, the strip, like the...
What was that park called?
It's not really a park. It's like Disney Live, Disney...
No. Shoot.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It was, like, called Downtown Disney.
Yeah, Downtown Disney. Yeah, we went there for seafood one night. But yeah, we went back to Epcot, like, most of the nights of our honeymoon for dinner at a different country. Mm-hmm. And, like, had that different experience each time. And y'all, that's still where I'm a big fan of fish and chips. Mm-hmm. And that is the place, the Rose and Crown in the British portion of Epcot is where I had the best fish and chips I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Take yourself over to England and Epcot and get yourself some fish and chips.
And there's like and they have, my point in all this was Epcot in every country has, like, almost every country, maybe except for Canada, has like a special drink that is their thing. So like you have styles of beers and styles of wines.
Yeah.
You can get a margarita in Mexico, like, and I have a couple of friends who, for our conventions, whenever they take us past a Disney property, they call themselves the Disney Dads, and they either go a couple days early or stay a couple days late and tour Epcot and literally stop in every single country and have one of the drinks and just make a day of it.
Yeah. Epcot is a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be just for kids because
it's not. Like I remember when I was a kid and we went to Disney World, I hated Epcot.
Yeah. Epcot is the adult part of Disney World.
Yeah.
But Disney World was also just, the other parks were also really fun for us too.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a really good honeymoon for us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We're not really I would sit on a beach. Rich is not a go and sit on the beach all day kind of guy.
Yeah.
He would do that maybe a day, but the next day we need to be doing something else. So we decided to forego the usual
beach honeymoon. We didn't go to Sandals
we didn't do any sort of resort.
If you went to Sandals, that's great. There's no judgment.
That's y'all's thing. That's good. But we needed a little bit more variety. Yeah. And it was also Star Wars Day when we were down there.
Yeah, it was Star Wars Day, and it was the perfect time of year because it was after spring break, but before schools were out, so there weren't a lot of kids. And for the kids that were there, we accidentally stumbled into the perfect Disney schedule, which is sleep in. Don't go out of the hotel until like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Grab yourself something to eat because that's early lunchtime. Most people aren't doing lunch yet. And then you go into the park around noon, and then you don't have to leave. Everyone's already like halfway tired by that point. They're getting lunch, and lunch is churros. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I think we waited. The most we waited was probably for Small World, maybe, or...
We waited a long time for It's a Small World, after all, and we waited a long time for Soarin'.
But really, I think when we say long time, I think we waited 30 minutes.
Yeah.
For 2 rides the
and everything
whole time.
Else we walked on.
Everything else, we just walked on, or we were, like, next in
line. And we didn't have fast passes or anything.
No, it was amazing. Yeah. We just kind of went on a Disney World tangent.
That's great.
But, how are we doing on time?
We're coming up on, we're right inside the sort of normal time. And I think maybe let's give the unless do you have more facts?
No.
About Club 33?
I can, not about Club 33 now.
Okay, we'll bring you more Disney facts maybe next time,
yeah.
And we'll end a little early this week. We gave you a long episode last week, so we'll give you a little break this week.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm planning on talking about the movie The Willoughbys, I think, next week.
Yeah.
So if you don't want that spoiled for you, please go take a look at it. It's on Netflix. It is really cute, very adorable, one of the most pitiful, I mean,
little families,
pitiful little family. And I'm gonna talk about that next week, but I don't want to spoil anything for anyone if you're interested in seeing that.
All right. Well, that's been this week's Not Suitable for Adults. We do thank you so much for listening. And if you have suggestions for shows that you think we'd like, or movies, you can send those to NotForAdultsCast. That's NOT4, that's the number, AdultsCast @gmail.com. You can tweet us at NotForAdultsCast. You can send us Instagram DMs at NotForAdultsCast. That's our thing everywhere. We talk about this every week. You know where to find us.
Also, I wanted to mention, I was a guest on a podcast called Four in Tow, and it is a podcast about homeschooling, and I was a homeschool kid, and the host of that podcast is Elizabeth, and we just had a nice conversation. She was also a homeschool kid, and she's now homeschooling her 4 kids. So it was a lot of fun, and we had fun. I think that's supposed to drop at the end of this month, so I'll keep you guys updated on that if you're interested in that type of subject. Homeschooling has become quite a it's become
it's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic. It's a lot more popular these days, and we Elizabeth and I talk about that in the
cool
in our show. Yeah, so
go
I had fun with that.
Go follow us on Twitter. We will share the heck out of that when it drops, and go find Foreign Toe between now and then, because that's a solid show, and all the Fade to Gray network shows are pretty great. So go find them. If you are looking for something to just sort of keep you feeling good and healthy during this time of lockdown, make sure you head over to fnxfit.com. They have lots of supplements and workout gear and workout
vitamins
and vitamins both that will keep you feeling good during this time and just keep that energy going. You can use the code NS4A15. That's NS4A15 to get 15% off your order over there and get feeling a little bit better during lockdown. Maybe, hopefully, feel like you did before. Just get going. But in the meantime, while you're sitting there sipping on your green smoothie, just don't forget, it's easy to be stressed during this, but just you've been given this time. You've just been given a time where you can kick back and be the boss.
So watch whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.